Hello everyone, it's a good day. I'm back with a new video, and today we are going to cover very interesting content that is about the do's and don'ts of getting into business with your friends or family members. Often we find ourselves sharing our business ideas with people who are close to us, and we tend to trust them because we have known them, like we know they are, who are their friends, their resources, where they live, and all that. Consequently, we tend to avoid very crucial things that you need to focus on whenever you are getting into any partnership or business with anybody, irrespective of their relationship with you. So today I will share 3 main tips that every person intending to get into business with a friend or a family member must adhere to for that business to be successful. Without further ado, we will jump into the first one. The first point, or the first rule: you must do your due diligence before starting any business. Let's say you are getting into business either with your spouse, your son, your sibling, or your friend. You need to investigate what are their character traits, what are their strengths, what are their weaknesses. Because imagine you can't, for instance, get into partnership with your friend and allocate he or she the responsibilities of handling customers, and yet maybe that person is extremely an introvert. They like having their business behind the scenes. So you have to master or investigate the character traits, the strengths and the weaknesses of an individual before deciding to get them on board into a particular business. Again, you have to do due diligence on their morality, like how honest are they, what are their communication patterns. Because I've had friends who got into partnership with individuals who are very cunning, like they are very cunning. So maybe they want to purchase something, and your friend is the one who has leads to that particular machine or that particular service. Both of you are in this business together and ought to benefit from the revenue, but this person goes ahead and exaggerates those figures so that they can have their cut. You can imagine you are in business with someone where, for instance, you are sharing the profits 50%, but when they are allocated the responsibility to go and purchase an item or a service, they add their brokerage fee on that service. That one is extremely cunning. So whenever you are getting into business with that friend of yours or that family member of yours, do all the diligence. The next point is you have to communicate your expectations rather than that excitement that you have when starting a business. Obviously, when you want to start a business with your friend or your family member, that can be your spouse, your sibling, your child, you are all excited because you want to start an empire that both of you really relate to it very much. It's a way of even making your bonding much stronger. But with that in mind, you have to communicate what you expect from each other. That is, how do you expect them to work? Do you expect them to meet deadlines always? Because you can be in a partnership with a person who is not very time conscious. So whenever you have an order from the client and they have the responsibility of delivering that particular service or product to that client, they may tend to delay. So you always have to come up and do what they were supposed to do to clear their name, or like to maintain the reputation of the business. So always be very clear on what you expect in terms of goals, responsibilities, productivity, the time you expect to break even, how to deal with the expenses incurred in the business, all that, it has to be very clear. Don't just be excited or just ignore, so and so is my friend or so and so is my partner, will definitely take care of that. It does not always work that way. You also have to be defined clearly how the two of you or the three of you will handle the conflicts whenever they arise. For instance, you may be having very different opinions over a certain step that your business wants to take. In that particular case, you need to list or state clearly what you expect for each of you or each of the partners in that particular business. Then lastly, the third point, it is that you need to have formal agreements. Always have formal agreements whenever you are getting into business. What do I mean by formal agreement? I mean have everything in writing, like have receipts. Like, okay, for those of you who will watch this video and are Kenyans, we have heard of Edgar Obare. He always asks for receipts. So whenever you are getting into business, have written evidence. So for instance, if it is the revenue sharing or those ratios you are getting into partnership, have it written. If we shall share the income 50%, each stakeholder, or 30%, have it written and signed by both of you, or as many of you who are getting into that particular business. Again, ensure that you have a written document stipulating the responsibilities that each member or each partner in that particular business will be playing. It's very important to avoid confusion. When it comes to contribution of the capital, have it written. Mr. X contributed this amount. In most cases, you will start very smoothly, and in the event that the business picks up pretty fast, for the first year or 2 years, you will be doing the business smoothly. The gentleman agreement that you entered into will be actually very perfect. But as the business expands, as it involves more income, more revenue, more responsibilities, you may tend to have some people tending to favor themselves, and like they are projecting their personal interest over the interest of the business. So these people who have that good heart, just trusting everybody, in most cases you end up losing your money, losing your time, and at times even losing the entire business. For instance, let me give you an example. You may have the expertise, but you don't have the capital. You get your friend or friends who have the capital. Assuming you are getting into business, the three of you or the two of you. That is your friend who has the capital and you who has the expertise or the skills needed to run that business. So you even ignore the fact that you people are using maybe a bank account for your friend, or even if it's a joint bank account for a joint business account. But you get to some point after the business starts booming, your friend says, you don't do anything for this business. In fact, I can turn you to be an employee. At that point, you have very little grounds to leverage what you have been doing for the company if there is no written agreement. As we have stated, the three main points to ensure that your business with your friends and family members is successful, you must ensure that you do your due diligence on the person and the business itself. You have to communicate your expectations, let them be very clear. And lastly, have that formal agreement, let it be written, stamped, signed, and all that. So, if you like this video or this content that we are creating, kindly click that like button, subscribe, and share with your friends and family members. And We just wish you to be successful in business. Bye bye till the next